A lot of us think we're avoiding pain, but what we are really doing is avoiding feeling the pain. And we don't always realize it. There's a part of us, a protective part that tries to help us survive. And by survive, I mean to not fall apart, to not be rejected again, to not feel the same pain that broke us before. So this part of us kicks in and says, let's just keep it moving. Let's stay busy. Let's act like it didn't matter. Let's not feel this. And it makes sense. It's trying to protect us. It's trying to help us to avoid that raw, vulnerable place where it hurts the most. But here's the truth. You can't escape what you feel. Even if you push it down, even if you pretend you're over it, even if you try to stay numb, that pain is still there. It doesn't disappear. It just hides. It goes underground, deep into your body, into your nervous system. You carry it in your posture, in your habits, in your silence, in your relationships. And eventually it resurfaces. Maybe not in the same form, but with the same pain. Because suppressed emotions don't go away. They just get louder somewhere else. All right, so we're going to talk about the loop of rejecting yourself first. Now, here's what happens next. And most people don't see this part. When you suppress how you feel, you're also suppressing your needs. Your need to be loved, to be seen, to be cared for, to also feel safe. And when you suppress your needs long enough, you stop showing up with your whole self. You stop being honest about what you want. You stop asking for more because you don't want to get hurt again. But the painful truth is that self-protection turns into self-rejection. You start rejecting the most human, tender parts of you. The parts that want to be held, the parts that long to be seen, the parts that are still aching from what someone else did. And here's where the loop begins. When you reject those parts of you, you end up attracting people who do the same thing. You show up guarded, right? And you attract people who don't know how to meet the parts you're hiding. So it feels like rejection is happening to you, but really it's a pattern that started within you. Now, I'm not going to say it's not your fault, but you were just trying to stay safe. But the very strategy you used to protect yourself became the same thing that keeps pulling in the same kind of pain. And you end up in the cycle, right, of suppressing your needs, attracting people who ignore those needs. You feel rejected, and then you even suppress more. And you're not broken, you're not weak. You are just trying to be loved while hiding the parts of you that still need it, right? All right, so now we're going to talk about why we isolate and why I think it backfires. So when the rejection keeps repeating and the pain doesn't go away, we do something else. Like I said earlier, we isolate. We stop trusting people. We stop opening up to people. We pull back, not because we want to be alone, but because we're tired of getting hurt, which is understandable. And that's also what I mean by survival. It's not about avoiding people. It's about avoiding the pain. We think, like, if I don't get close, I don't get disappointed. If I don't ask for anything, no one can let me down. If I don't need love, then I won't be rejected. That's how the protective part of us tries to shield from pain. And it does feel safe at first. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to risk being misunderstood. You don't have to watch someone else walk away. But over time, that safety turns into emptiness. That distance turns into numbness. And that silence becomes loneliness. you're not being hurt by others anymore, but now you're slowly disappearing from yourself. You weren't made to go through life disconnected. You weren't made to suppress your heart just to survive. Because if you isolate, even if you shut everyone out, your need for love doesn't go away. It just waits quietly, painfully, until you're ready to come back to it. So here's some solutions, but here's a question. So how do you actually begin to heal? And it starts with coming back to yourself. And when I say that, I'm not talking about the version of you that's protecting you. I'm talking about the part of you that always tries to keep things peaceful, stay busy so you don't have to feel, be strong so nobody sees your cracks, and be agreeable so you don't get abandoned. That's the protective part of you, the part that learned to perform so you feel safe. Now that part had its purpose. It helped you survive, but it's not the whole of you. You became the version of yourself that people liked on the outside, but you still felt invisible on the inside. And so coming back to yourself means reconnecting with the vulnerable parts of your personality, the parts you've had to suppress, deny, or even disown just to be accepted. These are the parts that needed love, but were told they were too much, felt sad, but you were told to toughen up, felt afraid, but had to pretend to be fine, and had needs, but stopped speaking up because no one really listened to you. And now those parts are still with you, still waiting, still trying to be heard. So instead of rejecting them again, you sit with them. You ask, what part of me have I been hiding? What do I actually need that I've been afraid to say out loud? What emotion have I been scared to feel? And when you start doing that, when you stop pushing those parts away, you stop fighting yourself. You start to understand your own emotions. You tend to them, you care for them, you include them in how you live, how you speak, how you connect. And when you do that, you're not just more whole, you're more honest, you're more rooted, you're more clear about what's for you and what's not. And you stop performing to be loved because you've already decided that you matter. You don't abandon yourself just to keep someone, because now you know how to stay with yourself. And here's what starts to shift, right? People begin to respond differently to you. Some will leave and that's okay, but others will come in. People who see you, respect you, meet you, because you're not hiding anymore, because you're showing up with your real self. And even more than that, you begin to develop discernment. You start to notice who is safe and who isn't, who honors your emotions and who plays with them. And that's when you begin to choose better, right? So these small practices of sitting with your emotions, asking honest questions, making space for your real needs, this is how you start to come back to yourself. Not just in theory, but in how you live, how you love, and how you let others love you. So in closing, right, I'm gonna say this clearly. You can't escape what you feel. You can protect yourself, yes. You can suppress your emotions. You can avoid how you feel by staying busy, focusing on work, distracting yourself with your phone, trying to be the one who doesn't need anybody, right? But your emotions don't disappear. They just go deeper. They hide in your subconscious mind. They sink into your body. They leak out in how you talk to people, how you respond, how you treat yourself. They shape what kind of people you let close to you. And so your sadness, your loneliness, your frustration, your need for closeness, for care, for love, it doesn't vanish. It just goes underground in your body. And eventually it shows back up when it's triggered. Not to punish you, but to invite you to slowing down, to listening, to stop running, to feel what's really there. Because the emotions you've been trying to avoid, men, they are not weakness. They are not drama. It's not something to get rid of. They are signals, and signals that something inside of you matters. Signals that something inside of you still needs attention, still needs to be listened to, still needs to be felt. So no, you may not be able to escape your feelings, but you can turn toward them. You can hold them with care. You can give yourself the safety you've spent years looking for in other people and other women. And when you do, you stop repeating the same pain. You stop losing yourself just to feel close to someone else, right? You stop chasing people who don't know how to meet you, because now you're meeting yourself. You're feeling your own emotions. That's what real healing is, in my opinion. It's not about becoming perfect. It's not a perfect thing. It's just about being honest. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about learning how to respond to it differently. It's about being willing to sit with yourself long enough that you finally feel safe being seen, even if the world never gives you that safety. Thank you, guys. Peace.